Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Zerfelros here bringing you some more Pokemon Go Battle League content. This week's video was done in the Great League Holiday Cup. It's Christmas time, everybody. The holidays are here and we have Great League instead of Big Fat XL Remix. So let's go ahead and just give a quick shout out to my patron supporters. Guys, I couldn't be doing this without you guys, and I love you guys for what you've done for me and my family. So thank you for the support for you guys. And if you, dear viewer, would like to become one of my patrons and get access to my videos early and all the team and meta tips that I can possibly think of, link in the description. Please check it out. Also, like, comment, subscribe if you like the content. So today's team, guys, features Talonflame Double Electric. So we've got Talonflame on the lead, rocking the typical moveset of Incinerate, Flame Charge, and Brave Bird. And then we've got Dedenne in the back. The little mouse that could. Shocking, isn't it? So we got Lantern on the save swap, running the Water Gun variant just to put some more pressure on the rock types, since this team kind of has issue with some of the rock type damage. And then Dedenne is there as the spammy little closer that could. Does an incredible job, as you're going to see today. It sweeps as well, and Talonflame, that thing's incredible in most formats that it's legal in. So without further ado, let's get right into these battles. So on our first battle, we're picking up a Ninetales lead, which is excellent. They're going to swap right out, and I'm looking to see what they're going to bring in. So they're bringing a Vigoroth. I'm bringing in Dedenne because it resists the counters, and I can basically match this thing as far as its spamminess goes. So you do have to shield Body Slam. It does kind of suck, but you know, at this point, like, I'm not too terribly worried about Switch at this point, because Lantern kind of handles a Ninetales to a degree. So I'm just going to play this out, hit them with these discharges, and they're going to find out very quickly how quickly Dedenne can spam charge moves. And we're going to be able to hit him, take some shields, and look, I can still survive a Body Slam. So I know that I can survive a Body Slam. Sometimes they'll go up to the Bulldoze and I'll shield anyway, but me knowing that I should just need to shield one Body Slam, and then at that point I can opt to either shield again and typically either win switch at this point, or get their shields all the way down so that my Talonflame can absolutely sweep. So we're going to throw this discharge here. We're going to look to see what they want to do. They let it go, so we win switch, and we're down a shield. And they're going to come back in with a Charm Ninetales, which is just fine. Now we can keep the Talonflame on it. They bring an Obstagoon. I'm going to go ahead. Let's throw a Brave Bird. Are they going to shield? I don't know. Let's find out. No shield on the Brave Bird. They take it, and then we swap right into Lantern to finish this matchup. The Water Gun damage is going to be way too hard for them to handle, and they're just that's pretty much a good game. And my opponent knows it, and they concede. So good game. Rocking onto this next match here. We got our Talonflame on the lead against a Cofagrigus. Very neutral matchup. Nothing in the team really beats or loses to Cofagrigus, but I'm going to dip because this is a Navy B team. And my opponent also looks to dip as well. So we got Lantern versus their Vigoroth, and look, you see how quickly that water damage is going to go. So my opponent here has gone all the way up to the Bulldoze. Now I know that my Lantern can take a Bulldoze, so I'd opt not to shield, because they typically just bait with Body Slam anyway. And a Thunderbolt will practically KO from this range. So just going to fire it off here. They do shield. My opponent is interested in switch. Because I took the Body Slam, and my Water Gun damage does do some damage, but there's no way that I'm going to be able to take this thing out. So that's okay. I'll let it take me out here, and then I'll come back in and farm with my Talonflame. I'm going to get a nice big hefty farm, because I know that I can boom that Cofagrigus into next century if I have enough farm, and they're running low on shields. So we are going to have to shield up Body Slam here, because we can't take too many of those. Unfortunately, Vigoroth is very spammy and kind of attack weighted, so we do have to shield up one or two Body Slams here in order to maintain the farm that we've got going on here. And they somehow get to the Body Slam. The last minute they get to the Body Slam. So I have to shield this up to keep my energy. And now we have flipped the switch. Now I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here. Let's see if we can do it again. Here he goes. Oh, we get him with the Brave Bird. And then we bring in the Dedenne so that we can start getting ahead on energy. My opponent's not swapping out. Whatever they've got in the back maybe doesn't want to see Dedenne. What is it? They let it go. It's an Obstagoon. Dedenne walls Obstagoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go and I'm going to fake the play rough. We're going to go for that discharge just to bait the shield. My opponent should know as a fairy type. I have a fairy type move. And they block the discharge. Ladies and gentlemen, unless they have Gunk Shot, this game is over. And they don't throw at the Gunk Shot, so all they're going to do is throw Cross Chop or a Night Slash here. And now all we have to do is go for the Play Rough, and we can take it out. We're going to get to that Play Rough, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to hurt. Let's see how much damage a super effective Play Rough does from the Den. Boom! Takes him out, and that's going to be GG's. Let's go on to the second game. This team is so fun. It's so spammy. And, oh, this is a terrible lead, though. All right, so Graveler is one of those things that kind of is hard for this team. So typically I safe swap into Lantern, start getting a hit on Water Guns, and at that point, I've got some energy. I can start threatening this Altaria with the Thunderbolts. I sometimes safe swap into Den, but unfortunately the Graveler can usually just play that out and sometimes beat the Den. It depends on... It's the Rock Blast hurts so much because the Den is not tanky. It's pretty squishy compared to most things here, but they switch in the Altaria, which is technically a counter, but these Thunderbolts are going to do some good pressure damage, and my opponent opts not to shield anything, so while I'm not going to be able to win switch here, so this is a good time for somebody to come in and farm down, because the Den resists everything on this Altaria. So I'm going to come in with the Den here and get some farm, knowing that I resist everything but the Moonblast, or Dragon, or not, I resist just everything but the Moonblast. And they didn't build up enough energy here. So I'm going to farm all the way down and have all that stored energy. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a Marowak. That is tough to deal with. So everybody's got 2 shields, but the problem is that the Den, we can't boom a Marowak, and they know that, so they opt not to shield. So now the Marowak's got a bunch of energy. I swap in to try and catch something, and they just get the Graveler on me. And at this point, I gotta start shielding Rock Blast. This Graveler is gonna make very short work of my Talonflame, unfortunately. They sneak in a Volt Switch. I'm just gonna go for Flame Charges here. I'm gonna try and just get some damage. Maybe I get lucky and I can take this thing out. Not happening. So I'm gonna let it go. They're gonna Rock Blast. I already knew it was gonna hurt, ladies and gentlemen. I hit it early. All right, so we can't. The only win condition I have here is to farm down and get like 3 discharges off, and it's not gonna happen. So that's GG's. Very well played by my opponent there. That was kind of a counter situation. Unfortunately, there wasn't really a whole lot I could do, but they did very well in managing that advantage and keeping up on it. So GG's to them. I'm gonna try my very best. The little mouse that couldn't this time. They do block it. They don't want to take that damage. They got 2 shields. They know they win the game, so that's it. That's okay. That's okay. It happens. You can't win them all, right? All right. Good effort indeed. All right. Next battle. Here we go. Against another Dedenne. So this is kind of scary because of those discharges. They're going to come out really quick. So I'm going to go straight to Lantern. I don't want to bring in the Dedenne into the mirror because they are kind of ahead at that point. So I'll pressure the Dedenne, and they're staying in way too long. So I have now a chance to flip the switch timer in my favor and keep them off of my Talonflame. Now, they may have another answer for Talonflame in the back, but they come in with a Vigoroth. So I'm going to be able to get to 2 Thunderbolts here. And I'm going to be able to put a lot of pressure on this thing to at least get a shield before I go down. And if they don't shield these, then they're going to lose switch, and that's not great. So I'm kind of hoping that they take me out here so that I have an opportunity to farm down with my Talonflame. They do shield, so they're looking to take switch, which is fine. I'm going to continue to Water Gun down, and we get them just with a sliver of health so that Talonflame can come in, sneak and incinerate through, tank a Body Slam, and have a little bit of energy loaded for whatever comes in next. And they're bringing back in the Dedenne. Now, they're going to throw that discharge. I've got 2 shields, so at this point, I'm feeling pretty good because all I have to do is get off a Flame Charge. But I'm going to save the energy for later, and I'm going to go straight another to come in with the Frostlass. Now, Frostlass gets outpaced by Dedenne. These discharges are going to go real quick, and they're going to hurt. They're going to hurt. This is about half the HP of a Frostlass right there. That'll hurt enough, and I can outpace them. So right now what I'm looking to do is, because I can kind of see the writing on the wall for my opponent, if I let my Dedenne go down and they have no shields, all I have to do is let them throw an Avalanche at me. I have to save this shield for my Talonflame, farm down or get to a point where I have 2 flame charges. Now my opponent, I don't know if they undercharged or if that's how much an avalanche does to Dedenne, but I'm going to be able to get this discharge off and take out the Frostlass anyway. So the switch timer came back up, and now I can bring back in my Talonflame, get one Incinerate off, and get to a Flame Charge, but my opponent looks to have quit the game as they have not done any fast moves. So GG's to them. That was actually a scary matchup, and I think that we both played that pretty well. But I was able to come out on top in that one thanks to the energy gain from Incinerate and Dedenne just being super spammy. Alright, Graveler again. This sucks, dude. This is a 50-50. It's whatever they've got in the back. Hopefully what they've got in the back doesn't wreck me, but this time I come in with the Dedenne, and what I like to do when I come in with the Dedenne is just shield the first move, because typically it'll be an Altaria or other flyer in the back, so they'll probably throw the Stone Edge to try and get rid of it, but I will throw Play Rough first. If they shield, then I will bait the Discharge afterwards, and then throw the Play Rough afterwards, but they decide not to shield this one, and they come in with a Wigglytuff. Now, this is a little Wiggly rough here, because those charms are going to hurt, dude. But the switch clock is a little bit out of sync, so I'm going to have an opportunity here to come in with my Talonflame and get plenty of farm. Now, let's see if my opponent decides to shield this, because if they do, then that's going to be hefty farm for Talonflame. And there they go. They're going to go down. So, unfortunately, I go down before they can, before the switch clock comes back up. So I'm going to take this opportunity and just farm. We're going to farm all the way down. I'm not even looking to care if I go over 100 energy. I'm going to shield this charge move, and I'm going to farm it all the way down, because I know that the only way that I deal with that Graveler is either catch it with some water guns, or I have to throw a couple of flame charges at it. So, in this particular case, alright, so what happened was I was going to go for the flame charge right away, but then I realized that Graveler probably wins CMP against Talonflame, so I decided the last second just to swap, and it worked out, and they quit. They apparently didn't like Lantern in the back. So, alright, GG's to my opponent, though. That was incredibly, I don't know how I managed. Just the last second decision to switch there. Alright, we got an elite against the Galvantula. So this is kind of sucky for both ends, because we're both doing super effective damage to each other, and those Volt Switches do chunk. So, I'm going to shield up the potential discharge here, but my opponent throws a lunge, which sucks. So, now that my attack is dropped, I'm going to save swap into Dedenne, because the fast move damage from my Lantern is good, but now my opponent springs in Skarmory, and at first, this is what happens when you run a Skarmory with Steel Wing, is it took me by surprise, because I didn't realize they were using it for a second. I'm like, oh, it's Air Slash, whatever. But look at how much damage that's done already. Now I'm loading up on energy, and I'm letting this go. So this is kind of not great for me, because now my opponent can farm me down, but I am going to be able to get 2 more discharges off, assuming that move they just snuck in doesn't KO me. And if they want to maintain switch advantage, they can, but they have to just let it go. And so they come back in with Galvantula, and I do quickly throw the discharge just to get some damage off before it KOs me here. And they do shield it, which, I mean, it's a Galvantula, I guess they shield everything, right? So I come in with the Lantern knowing that all they're going to be able to do to me is neutral damage, and I kind of want to soak the lunge or the discharge. And now what I can do is I can just water gun down, because it's going to take them 3 more to get there, and I'm just going to barely be able to get there. And they come in with Obstagoon. I've got a lot of energy, and I'm going to go for that Hydro Pump. I want to KO this thing, and I want to do it quick. So do they shield? No, they don't. They take the Hydro Pump. We come in with Talonflame and go for the Flame Charge, but they beat us to the move. Well, that's fine. It's just a Night Slash. It's not going to do a ton of damage. I've got energy. I've got Flame Charges, and all I've got to do now is burn things. Yep. So I'm going to get to this Flame Charge before my opponent. I have a shield, so I'm not gonna throw here. I'm just gonna let it go, and I'm gonna let my Lantern finish the job, because I know that it's got enough HP to water gun down everything that's in the back because of how low they are. So GG's there. That water gun fast move damage it can be oppressive in neutral or squishy opponent matchups. So Graveler again. I have seen so many damn Gravelers. So again, now this time I come in with the Lantern, they come in with the Vigoroth, and I don't know why people run Vigoroth and Graveler, because they kind of lose to other Vigoroths, but anyway, we're going for those Thunderbolts here. And we're going to try to land a Thunderbolt. My opponent shields right away. They understand that their Vigoroth is a squishy boy, and they don't want squishy boy to get zapped. So My opponent's going to throw moves here. I'm looking to just let them go. They're just going to throw body slams. That's fine. I know there's no way that I really win switch against a Vigoroth because of how spammy they are. So I kind of just opt to like get it as low as I can and then try and get as much farm as I can on either Dedenne or Talonflame. Now this time I come in with the Talonflame. I could have come in with the Den knowing that I resist the counters, but I didn't really want to invest a shield yet, just because I know the Graveler's in the back, and I'm really going to need my energy to deal with that thing, and I'm also going to need my shields to deal with that thing. So now I'm going to invest a shield into the Body Slam here, because I do need to keep my Talonflame alive. And now I'm going to swap into the Den and start getting some energy. I've got a lot of energy on Talonflame, and I want to keep it, and I know I can survive a Body Slam, and they did not build up to a Bulldoze, so we're going to go ahead and let the Body Slam through. They're going to come in with a Frostlass. Now, we saw earlier what happens with Frostlass. We outpaced that Frostlass. And a lot of people don't know Dedenne's move counts. They don't realize it's only 5 Thunder Shocks to a discharge. So they're going to let that through because they know that it won't KO because Dedenne doesn't have super strong charge moves. But we're going to let this Avalanche go. And again, my opponent undercharges, and they don't understand how close I was to the other discharge. So I'm not entirely certain if my opponents... I mean, I guess in this case, they're trying to get some farm, but they just let it go down. And so Graveler comes in, and I go for the discharge here to try and get some chip damage off. I know that there's no way I'm getting this player off, so I am going to go ahead and just let it go here. And then as far as this goes, I mean, this looks like a loss to me, because that Graveler's got energy, and all I can do is just throw a couple flame charges at it. Yeah, that's it, man. I think I'm going to shield up here to see if I can make something happen. Maybe a boosted flame charge is going to be enough. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, they've got so much energy that there's no way that they're going to get that. No, there's no way. So that's going to be a loss, unfortunate, but Graveler sucks. It's really good in the meta, though. Graveler is a consistently powerful pick. It can pack a punch on anything here. Because there's not really anything in the meta that resists it except for a couple things. So, picking up lead against a Lickitung here. Lickitung is just going to lick my birdie here. And I'm going to go for the Flame Charge. They're not swapping out immediately, so either they're not running an ABB team, or what they're running is weak to my Talonflame in the back. And so I'm thinking, okay, Lickitung weak to counter leads. Probably a Frostlass or a Trevenant in the back, you know, a Ghost type usually is what you pair with a Lickitung. So I'm going to play this out for the most part, and I do plan to swap eventually. But for right now, I mean, the Lickitung, because it has Power Whip, it kind of handles my Lantern, and I don't want to sack my Dedenne right now. So we'll just kind of see what happens here. Those Incinerates are just absolutely starting to chunk, and if my opponent makes a mistake here, I'm going to be able to farm them down and have an energy to throw. But I'm going to let my Talonflame go down here. They're at a perfect range where I can come in and farm down some energy with something else. So I'm going to come in with the Den, and I'm going to look to just farm it all the way down to get a good head start on energy. They're able to get to a Body Slam. I'm not worried about it because Lickitung doesn't have a ton of attack weight. So I'm going to let it go because it's really not going to hurt that bad. They come in with a Wigglytuff, and this is where things are going to get dicey because those charms are going to shred through this team. The only counter to charm that I have is gone. And so I come in with my Lantern knowing that they're locked in here, and Lantern's pretty darn bulky. You can see those charms don't chunk it nearly as much as they did to Den, so I'm actually looking to farm all the way down here, commit one shield to this farm down, and knowing that that Lickitung is extremely low, it'll give me the chance to throw some Thunderbolts or even a Hydro Pump, whatever's in the back here. So Wigglytuff's going to go down to Water Gun damage. I've got the Den with a little bit of energy in the back. Let's see what happens. They're going to come in with a Frostlass. And we're going to go for this Thunderbolt here to do some damage. And it's going to take about half its HP. We're going to go for another one. And they're going to swap out here. I'm going to be able to farm them down with the Thunder Shocks and get to this discharge in time to take out the Frostlass. Oh man, that Lickitung coming in really sealed the deal there. Alrighty, good game to my opponent. Alright, we got a couple more for you. This one here, we got Talonflame picking up a lead against Altaria. This is another terrible lead matchup, getting a lot of those lately. So we dip immediately into Lantern because the Den is the hard counter. We bring out a Greedent. So Home Slice Henry's team had an Altaria and it had a Greedent, didn't it? Pretty sure I remember that being a thing. So I'm expecting there to be a Litleo in the back, so I'm kind of malding a bit here that I actually brought out my Lantern, but let's go ahead and see if this Hydro Pump lands against this Greedent, because if it does, that would be kind of huge. And what do we get? Well, there was no shield, but that's a fake Kaboom. I thought that I didn't see the shield. I thought they were going to take it. So they don't take the Hydro Pump, which sucks. So at this point, I'm going to just kind of let the Lantern go down here. And I feel bad for that fake boom. That's not even a real Kaboom. They got me. I did these battles like a few days ago, so forgive me. I don't remember everything on them. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna farm down with my Talonflame. Start getting ahead on energy by a mile here. The Bullet Seeds are double resisted, and the Body Slams, while spammy, are manageable up to a certain point. So I'm just gonna kind of see how far I can get. I will opt to throw a Flame Charge here to see if I can get to take them out. Or if I can maybe burn a shield. I expect them to come in to let it go, and they come in with the Altaria, but they let it go, or they don't let it go. They put up a shield, and I assume that's because they've got a lot of energy. So I will shield in kind, because my opponent has a lot of energy at this point. They wouldn't have shielded otherwise. They thought they could take it out, but they did get my last shield. But I've already got an Incinerate snuck through. I've got a ton of energy, and I'm going to be able to come in, even if the Altaria comes back in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go for this Brave Bird, and you know what's going to happen? It's gonna hurt. It's a boosted Brave Bird. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna hit like a truck. There's a real Kaboom for you. Now we're gonna come in with the Den because I expect something else to come in. I've got a shield. They've just got a Litleo. These discharges are gonna hurt, and they're gonna pile up quick. So we're gonna let the Den just do its job and sweep and do it quickly. The fast move damage from Litleo is not oppressive enough to really concern me here. They're running Ember rather than Fire Fang. They're going to throw the Flame Charge. I'm going to shield it up and get to this discharge real quick, and I'm just going to be able to take it out. And then the Altaria is easy pickings for an electric fairy type like Dedenne. He's just going to be able to take out that Altaria easily, and I just get to the discharge here. My opponent gets to a Sky Attack. Now, we resist everything. Look, it just tickles. We come out with 1 HP in a dream. Dedenne hanging on by a thread to throw this discharge and seal up this game for us. Good game. Well done, Dedenne. Alright, one last battle here in this video. We got an Obstagoon lead, so we've got a pretty neutral matchup across the board here. Talonflame's pretty good, and they're not swapping out immediately. So once again, they've either got something in the back that's weak to my Talonflame, or they're not running an ABB team, which almost everybody these days seems to be running some form or variation of an ABB team. So I'm going to let the Night Slash go. I don't want to take the damage. I don't want to shield the unboosted one if they get a boost. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this Flame Charge, and I'm going to look to bail, saving a little bit of energy. And my opponent throws energy. They either want to take a moment to think about their actions here, reflect on their day, or they don't have a solid answer and they need to do some chip damage, and they come in with a Wigglytuff. So this looks like Obstagoon, probably double charm if I'm honest, because otherwise, you know, why would you not swap out? So they don't have a solid answer to the Talonflame aside from these Charmers, and they let this go, which means I'm still going to go down here, but I'm going to be able to come in and get some farm in with my Talonflame, but we're going to shield up this potential Ice Beam, which it is, and we're going to be able to get one more Incinerate through, and then they're probably going to come in with their own Talonflame. That is not what I was expecting, but makes complete sense as to why they would not swap, because they know that a Talonflame that is behind on energy is a Talonflame that loses the mirror matchup. So we're going to continue to play this mirror matchup. I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here, hoping that my opponent I either get their other shield or they get taken out. And what happens here? They don't take the damage. They shield smartly. So I'm actually just going to let mine go down at this point. And I'm going to come in with Dedenne, and I'm going to look to get off a discharge because this thing has no shields. And I have one shield, so I'm going to spend it right here. I'm going to spend my one shield. And I'm going to get this discharge off. And that discharge is going to do a lot of damage. It's electric type versus that flying typing. So yeah, it's going to be some super effective damage. We're going to hit this Talonflame, take it out, and then in comes the Obstagoon. And the Obstagoon knows that its fate is sealed, and that is going to be a good game. This team has been so incredibly fun to play. The double electric comp has been so awesome. It's like Talonflame just slaps everything. and then whatever it doesn't slap, the electric types can come in and handle. Now, that set gets us a 4-1, and that's going to take us up to the high 2400s. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a video. Thank you for tuning in this week, and it's been an absolute pleasure to showcase this team for you. If you like this content, maybe you enjoy it. Maybe you like the energy. Maybe you like the wonderful finesse that I've got with my games. Whatever it is, I appreciate you stopping by, and if you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, maybe comment. Let me know how your Holiday Cup battle's doing. Are you bringing the festive cheer to Pokemon Go Battle League, or are you just skipping out, maybe playing the Ultra League? Either way, again, so with the Patreon and my Discord, the Patreon offers a Discord, and that's a link in the description. You can go ahead and click that if you want to check it out for coaching, battle tips, things like that. I appreciate you all so much for watching these videos, and I will hope to see you next week in the next installment of the Holiday Cup. Thank you. Bye-bye.